Welcome into episode 21 of JD's Empire Sports Talk. Once again, here with our Jets specialist, Ryan Downey, who had a little bit of a vacation last week. How was the vacation, buddy?
It was good. It's good to be back, though.
Yeah, we're going to have you back for this week, do a NFL Combine special that I think is going to be very, very huge for the Jets, deciding a lot of different positions that they need. We'll get into that in a little bit, but yeah, so we'll have the recap of the combine next week. So you'll be back 2 weeks in a row, and then we'll probably give you a week off, and then next week after that will be free agency. So we can do like a good free agency show and see who they can go out there and get, and then if they make some big moves, we can talk about them as well. But we'll kind of feel it out depending on we don't want to be repeating ourselves too much because that'll get boring and no one will watch. So that's a good thing. We got to keep it nice and fresh in everyone's mind. But we can recap what we did last time nice and quick. We last episode we had you on, we talked about the different coaches they got, right? And
Hmm.
we went through like the staff was okay, could have been better, but they moved some moves they made were pretty good, and I think the overall the coaching staff has the balance of experience and new guys, former players, all that stuff. So I think they're going in the right direction for now. And another good thing, some news that came out from one of the writers in the paper, but it was Glenn and Muji will be at the combine. I know you told me about that
Yeah.
as well. What happened with the last regime? I don't remember. What was that?
It was solid. He didn't go to two out of the last three combines. That could be a reason why the late round picks weren't good.
Yeah, yeah. For a team that doesn't make the playoffs, not going to the combine is very smart, right? Yeah, so that's good. Glenn and Muji will be there this year. Hopefully, they can continue that for a while. Hopefully, they're here for that long. But the combine will start this Thursday, February 27th, and end on Sunday. So it's gonna good 4 days of evaluating talent from all the different positions, and it's teams that you get to talk to these guys one on one, which I think is something that's huge. It shouldn't be overlooked, but it is overlooked. Just because they have talent, you need to understand who they are as a person. I mean, you can only find out so much when you're in there doing that, but any little thing, maybe something that happened in their past that you bring up, little things like that you can find out about a guy and see if he fits in with your culture that they're looking to turn around. So that's a good thing. But with that being said, I know you have a bunch of guys that you like to talk about. So first, I guess we can go through. I'll talk about like what you decided that their positions of need will be. I agree totally here. I don't really know what else you can say their position of need are. Maybe linebacker, but I don't really think so. For depth, yeah, but not for like starting caliber players. And we'll go through that. But quarterback, wide receiver, tight end, defensive line slash edge. Edge is not something they need, but defensive line definitely because it's Quinn Williams and nobody else. So like I said, quarterback, wide receiver, tight end, defensive line of some sort, and safeties. I totally agree with you on this. I'll let you jump in before you name the actual players. Maybe rank. I would say let's go. Let's rank these the order of team need because you obviously I don't know if this is the right like the order you want. Like, do you
No,
think it is? I don't think
no.
so either. But take me through your order here. One through what is it? One through four, five. One
Yeah.
through five. Yeah.
So defensive line, I think you have to have a strong defensive line.
We've seen it
We
with the
we saw, we
Eagles.
saw it in the
Yep.
Super Bowl. The Eagles defensive line, no matter they drafted guys anywhere in the draft, seventh, first round
Studs.
picks, studs all over the defensive line, and that was the reason why they won the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And if you go past years, the Chiefs always have a good defensive line, but the other Super Bowl Mahomes lost was the Brady, and the defensive line was huge in that
Very
one.
very good.
So
Yeah.
if you want to get deep into the playoffs, you're going to need defensive line. Quarterback, obviously, but out of this class,
That's probably number one, honestly.
out of this
But
class, I put it two
two, just
because
because the
you don't
players
know if we're going to draft one fully yet, because they could
and the talent of these guys, right?
they could sign one. The talent's not there.
Mhm.
Wide receiver, because besides Garrett Wilson, the wide receiver room is not good. Because assuming Devontae is going to leave, go
He'll be
follow
gone. Yeah.
Rodgers or go somewhere else. And then I think the wide receiver class overall is very good. You can get a valuable starter in the fourth round, pair it next to Wilson. I hope they go earlier, but
Mhm.
if they went that late, I think they could. And then tight end and safety, but tight end is more important because that's something the Jets' offensive systems have not have over the years. I can't even think of the best guy that they've had since 2015. Like who? Safarian Jenkins is like he had that couple week run, and that was it. And then safety, I think Glenn's gonna bring in a whole new safety room because the
They
safeties
need it.
over the last 4 seasons weren't really that strong, and I think we can get like a valuable piece in the later rounds.
I agree with you on that, and I like how you made your point of saying quarterback is second. I would say yes, quarterback is first in the sense of that they need one because they don't have one.
Yeah.
But in this draft, the talent may not fall the way, and the talent in general is not great. But even the guys that are available aren't worth it to draft. Probably, maybe one of those guys. I would say definitely one
Hmm.
of your list. The other ones, I wouldn't even think about drafting until the fourth round, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I know you'll go through that in a little bit. So first, I'd say, um, let's go with starting with the quarterbacks, because we have that in the list here. So talk me through your four guys that the Jets should definitely keep an eye out for this weekend, and then maybe tell me a little bit about each guy.
So Kyle McCord from Syracuse, he started at Ohio State. He wasn't too great at the Big Ten defenses or big boy defenses.
Mhm.
He went to Syracuse. He dominated. He had tops and touchdowns, a lot of yards.
Almost 5,000 yards. Yeah.
I think he'll be around third, fourth pick in the draft, like the round, and then I think having him playing cold weather already, coming to New York, it's gonna
Yeah.
be cold. Sitting on, maybe he can sit under a Tyrod or another veteran they bring in, and then Jalen Milrow I have on there.
Mm.
I just want to see him how he can throw in the combine because I don't feel that he was like a good like he's not known for his throwing in throughout the games. So I think good to see him in the combine throwing.
Hmm.
Jackson Dart, I know he can be possibly a first round pick.
He's flying up the
Definitely a
charts.
second round pick, if
Yeah.
not first. He was good in Ole Miss, very good. I would love to see how he does in the combine. Will Howard, I know you're not too high on him, but
Yeah.
I think fourth, fifth round maybe. Listen, he's done a lot of winning. He's played a lot of games, and that's something that we need.
Yeah, I can totally agree on that. I would say maybe rank what your personal favorite would be. Like rank 1 through 4 here. Like who you want the Jets to really get. Because I know you like all four of these quarterbacks, and I think that's a good thing that they have. These guys do have talent. We're not saying they don't, but they're not polished as maybe past years of draft classes and all that stuff. But each guy definitely has a certain thing that scouts, us fans, coaches, whatever, want to see this weekend. What like certain things they can do. Like Kyle McCord, I think they want to see his athleticism because
Hmm.
he's a good quarterback, but he may not have the athletic abilities that a Jackson Dart has. Someone else, like some of those
Yeah.
other guys. Like Jackson Dart's probably one of the, I would say, more athletic than Cam Ward and Shador Sanders, but his arm may be a little. His arm's good, but it may be a little behind those guys. There's certain aspects of his game. Milrow, I think, is a little bit of a mess. I don't know. He's a project, I think, but he is another guy, extremely athletic. So everyone, like you just said, he has a strong arm, but he is not accurate at all.
Mhm.
So you want to see guys running those easy 10-yard outs. You want to see him hit them
Do you
in the
have that?
chest.
Do you have
Yeah,
that NFL accuracy
exactly.
that can you can be a top quarterback in the league?
I mean, it looks like a simple throw that
Mhm.
NFL quarterbacks, yes, they make it all the time, but you want to see these guys in the combine making that throw. Will Howard, another guy, he's sneaky athletic, I think, but I think his tools may be a little lower than everyone else. So that's one of those things that we have to look at to see. But what do you think? Who's your favorite the guy? Who do you want the Jets to bring in? Because I think they will draft a quarterback. Who's your guy?
I want Kyle McCord.
Okay, I agree.
Uh, the only reason why I haven't had a Dart, like of why, because if Dart's gonna go in the first round, I don't want him with the seventh pick.
Yeah, it's not worth it unless you trade down. But I don't know. And I think Dart's going to be picked up more like Penix and
Yeah,
Bo Nix, right? But yeah,
yeah.
Bo Nix last year were drafted higher than anybody thought. I think that's what's going to happen with Dart. I think a team may lie and be like, "Yeah, we're going to take Dart right now," and teams are going to be scrambling to draft them. Dart is very talented, but I would not take him with the seventh pick. There's too many other positions of need or just best available guys that are out there that could be taken over him. So it's nothing against Dart. It's just the position that they're in right now. All right, let's move on. Wide receivers, huge good, very very good draft class for wide receivers this year. Not as deep as previous years, but I would say top what 7, 8 guys are legit. I
Mhm.
think that they both all bring different skill sets, and I know these guys right here. I don't know too much about one of your guys. I want to hear what you have to say about him, but the other three, I know that they all bring different skills to the table, and the Jets, like you said before, they need any type of receiver to match with Garrett Wilson. So it doesn't really. I don't think the skill set matters. Just if you're talented and can get in there and play, because Garrett Wilson can obviously do everything, but he can't do it by himself, and we know that. So take me through your top four receivers to watch for the Jets, obviously, because we're not. There's guys that are way more talented than
Yeah.
were on this list, but they're not going to fit what exactly the Jets need.
So I have Tet McMillan from Arizona. I don't really
Clear
know
cut
how
number one.
I don't really have to say his first name. I'll just call him Tet.
Yeah,
But he's if he's there with the seventh pick,
I think you're running it to the table.
yeah, I think you have to run that card right to Roger Goodell, the
Yeah,
commish, and he can be like a Drake London. He's a number one on his own team. Imagine having a Drake London with Garrett Wilson. Now that's an elite receiving core. I have Jaden Higgins.
duo, I would say, not core.
Core. Maybe Malachi Corley could be something. You never know.
Hopefully, yeah.
Jaden Higgins from Iowa. He's a big body receiver. He's the guy that when you're in the red zone, you throw it up to him. You know he's coming down with the ball. So that's the big body receiver to go with
They,
Wilson.
they need that. Yeah.
Jack Beck from TCU. He lit up the numbers at TCU, and I guess his quarterback wasn't that good. But if you can get him second, third round, maybe that would be a good fit. And then Tez Johnson from Oregon. He's on the smaller side, which is why he'll be lower in the draft.
Yeah.
But he is one of the best route runners in this NFL draft.
Yeah, he tore up the Senior Bowl.
He did.
If I remember right, and I was talking about him on my other show, He Knows Ball, uh, earlier, and I said Tez Johnson is probably he could be arguably the top three most talented receiver in this draft. But why he won't be drafted that high is because he's 5'9", 100, and I think like 50 pounds.
Yeah.
So that he like I said this earlier, I said he's one hit away from being in a wheelchair. Like I don't want to make fun of it, but it's very possible that that can happen. But he is so talented that I think if the Jets can get their hands on him and they can make it work with him, he can be that gadget type player, but he can also play. Like it's
Mhm.
not someone that you're gonna like be shy to use. Like he's someone that can go out there and get it done. So it depends how much belief I think they have in Corley. I don't know what this new coaching staff thinks of him. That'll come with time. But I think that's something that you got to go out there. I don't think the type of style of receiver matters for the Jets in this draft. I think if they can get one in the top 3 rounds, they got to do it. They got to take advantage of that because after those 8 receivers, like I was saying before, and like you mentioned here, there's not they're good, but they're not like with previous draft classes. So that's good to see. Next tight end, I couldn't agree with you more on either of these three guys. All of them are guys I think the Jets should try to get, and one I think they don't really have a chance at, but I want to see what you think. Take it away.
I'll start with Harold Fannin from Bowling Green. He had over 10 touchdowns, over 1,000 yards. Coming from a school like that, that's
Yeah.
very good. If
I mean,
he's
the competition wasn't obviously at the highest, but still, he's putting up
yeah,
numbers.
yeah, still, and probably his team wasn't as good. So and then
Exactly.
he
Yeah.
made his team better. If you can get him in the second round, pair with one of those receivers, now you're looking at a scary offense.
Yeah.
I have Elijah Arroyo. I think that's how you say it from Miami.
Arroyo. Yeah.
Arroyo
Yeah.
from Miami, and then he lit up the Senior Bowl like Tez Johnson. So I think he flew up the draft.
Mm.
Terrence Ferguson from Oregon. He was teammates with Tez Johnson, Dylan Gabriel, who's in this draft. I didn't say him before, but I'd like to see him at the combine, but I don't think he's a fit for the Jets. And then I didn't have him on the list, but Tyler Warren from Penn State. I would take him at 7, but taking a tight end at 7 is kind of a stretch.
Yeah, I mean, they do. The Jets do need a tight end, but I don't think. I mean, Warren he's a great player. But I don't think that he's something that the Jets need right now. That's like a Brock Bowers type of thing. They could have done that last year, but they didn't. So I don't know if they will go with Warren, but the Arroyo kid, I don't think that the Jets will even have a shot at him, honestly, like you said, because the Senior Bowl was absolutely insane. He was like the best player there. So I don't think that the Jets will have a chance at him because he'll get picked up by one of those later round playoff type teams that they need a tight end. I mean, whoever that could be. I don't know. There's teams out there that made the playoffs that lack a little bit at the tight end position. Uh, Commanders, maybe. A Commanders team that Ertz, I don't know what his future is. He could be a guy. I know they drafted someone last year, I think, but or if Ertz isn't back, even if he is, Ertz can be great for them, and they can have a Royal type guy. So I think that the Jets won't have a shot at him, but Fannin and Ferguson definitely something two guys to keep an eye out for. Um, let's move over to the defense though. Defensive line slash edge and safety. So whatever one you want to talk about first, you can just attack it.
So we'll start with the D line. Mason Graham from Michigan.
Mhm.
He's a beast. Imagine pairing him with Quinn and Williams,
Yeah,
and you're
yeah.
getting Johnson back off the edge. Yeah, you have Will McDonald. That front four alone, without even the backups,
Mhm.
that's one of the top in the league.
Yes.
But he was really good, and on a not so great Michigan team this year, he stood out. Nazir Stackhouse. I was looking maybe like a sixth, seventh round pick. He's a big body. He definitely helped stop the run. Tyleek Williams from Ohio State.
Good
He
player.
he was really good and throughout the whole playoffs, along with his teammate Jack Sawyer that I have on there. They were a huge reason why they won the whole thing. And then a teammate of Mason Graham, Josiah Stewart. He had like 8 or 9 sacks this year.
Yeah.
He was always getting after the quarterback, and he was a big reason why their defense kept them in all their games.
So I like the defensive lineman first. We can attack that. Mason Graham will be a top 10 pick, so that could be someone that's at number 7, very possible. And I think if you have a combination of McDonald, Johnson, Quinnen, and Graham, pretty good defensive line. That's something that would be scary because they have a gaping hole next to Quinn and Williams, and they have to figure that out somehow. If it maybe it's free agency, but Graham could be a guy that you go in there and take, and he'll play right away and be really, really good. Sack numbers won't be there most likely, but the run game, running against him, they'll have no shot against because he's just an animal.
He'll take some double teams off Quinnen that he was getting a lot last year.
Yeah, yeah. Quinnen had no chance most of the time. That's why his numbers were still good. Yeah, don't get me wrong, but it was very tough to do anything like that. Jack Sawyer. I know I skipped around a little bit, but Jack Sawyer is someone I think that Combine will decide a little more on him. He played really really well in the playoff. He stepped up huge. I had a game winning play against Texas. I think he's someone that teams will maybe jump at the late first round to get. If he's available for the Jets in the second round, I would seriously consider that. You can't get through a whole season either with two edge rushers. Obviously, the Jets have two starters that I think are studs, but it's very very hard to get through an entire season like that. And you can use guys in different ways.
Especially with Johnson coming off the injury,
Yeah, he's
you
coming.
always needed an extra guy in there.
I would, yeah, exactly. I was about to say that first probably half of the season, Johnson won't be 100% to play every snap. And even if he is healthy, it's hard to do that. It's impossible. Stackhouse from Georgia, I think he's a really, really big guy. The athleticism is okay, but he can be a guy that they take later in the draft, even if they take a Graham, just to have an extra guy who can play. Williams from Ohio State, someone I agree with you a lot. I think he's a really, really good player. What do you think? Like second, third round? You
Hmm.
thinking on him? So that's someone that could be in there. All these guys, second, third round type talents, can be very, very good on defense for the Jets. And Stewart as well for Michigan. I don't know a ton on him. I know he is anyone from Michigan on that defense. I mean, they're gonna have two top 10 picks, so their defense is really, really good. So I don't really have much on him, but I think he can be a good player if he's coming from Michigan. But with last position group we can break down, which I think is something that the Jets should draft. Honestly, three safeties if I had the chance at doing, but probably only one in the draft. I would assume, uh, and then free agency to take care of the rest. But take me through your safeties here.
Ransom from Ohio State,
Full name:
Ransom.
Latham,
So I
Ransom.
I want to see him how he does with the drills and the coverage drills because from watching him in the playoff, I noticed that he was in the box a lot.
Yeah.
So I now to see him with do all the coverage and all that, I would love to see how he does. Andrew Makuba from Clemson,
Hmm.
he's another guy that's all over the field. Doesn't matter where you put him. You can put him deep. You can put him in the box. He's gonna he you know he's gonna do the job.
Yeah.
And then I have Shiloh Sanders, Dion's son. You never know. He's one of the biggest hitters in the draft, and Dion's son. So you never know. He can be top safety in the league one day.
Yeah, I like this list a little bit. Shiloh would definitely be a late round pick, probably seventh round, because he struggled a lot. It was the Shrine Bowl. He struggled a lot there. But I mean, if you have your father played professional, both baseball and football, so I'm sure the work ethic will never stop, and he'll keep improving. and he could be a guy that maybe have as the third or fourth safety on the team, and he can develop and become a starter one day. I wouldn't be upset with that pick. So we'll see what happens with that one. Ransom, I really really like, and I feel he wasn't talked about enough at Ohio State because of who he played with back there, as with his other running mate Caleb Downs. So I think that was someone that overshadowed the entire defense, and Ransom didn't get enough credit in the box as well. Like that, I like. I know we're laughing because Downs, Caleb Downs, but Ransom, he's versatile, and I like that. So that's really really good for the Jets because they need versatility, especially in the secondary. And nowadays with safeties, it's not just about playing back there 30 yards down the field and making a play. You got to be
Last
able.
year's safety group was not good at all.
No, it sucked, and they got beat deep a lot. And I don't think the cornerbacks will need the help from the safety, so I think that allow them to play more free. And I think the safeties can just go out there hard hitting, and if they have to go out there and make a play, and what you want to call center field for them, they can go out there and do that. So I think they need to get safeties that are versatile. Like I wouldn't even say anymore free safety and strong safety. That's not really a thing I
If
don't
you're a
think
safety,
exists
you're a
anymore.
safety.
You got to be able to do both. You got to be able to hit a guy uh, maybe a quarterback, running back, receiver, anyone. You don't have to. You can be. You have to be able to cover a tight end. You have to be able to open up your hips and go out there and help a cornerback out and make a big play. So I think that's something they had Whitehead around 2 years ago. Not having him this year, someone who caught a lot of heat, but he was able to go out there and force turnovers, which his safety group this year was not able to do. So, and the kid from Clemson, I don't really know him either, but hopefully he can go out there and be something for them. But before we end it, do you got any final thoughts regarding the combine? Because I know it's a big time for football where the offseason usually takes over. NFL is just one of those sports, man, that it doesn't
Never
matter what
ends.
time of the year it is, never ends. We got combine this week, and like I said, free agency in a few weeks after that, then the draft in April. So it's going to become really, really quick, and this is crucial for the Jets. We got to, as fans, we have to look at it. I want to get your take too. We have to look at it like, okay, are we going for it this year? Are we going to try to develop every young guy possible and maybe sneak into the playoffs? So we'll see what happens with that. But any final thoughts you got here?
I think this is a big draft, like you said. Glenn and Muji have to get this right because if you don't get this right, then their jobs could be on the line too.
Yeah.
Especially with all these guys that are going to be going into second contracts: Sauce, Johnson, Wilson, McDonald,
Mhm.
Barrett, Tucker. You have to make sure these guys want to be around for the change, and it has to start right now. It can't start next year. It can't start in the middle of the season. It has to start now.
I totally agree. And one thing about that as well, like you like you said, the second contract guys that are coming up, all the young guys who aren't going to be so young in another couple of years. That's when you really have to start drafting well. So why not start now? Let's see what
Hmm.
they got. Muji from Denver, he scouted their assistant GM as well for a long time, so I'm sure he'll have a good game plan going into that. Glenn definitely has his type of players that he's looking for, and they have to take advantage of the one-on-one meetings, see what type of guys that are out there, and that's really it. I mean, I think that everyone's excited for this combine. We'll see who can steal the show because there's always someone that you're not thinking of that got that last-second invite that goes in there and plays better than anybody. And maybe he's a small school type of kid that we're not looking out for right now, but he'll catch our eye. And next week we can come back in and talk about that. We'll have like we'll next week we'll talk about who you guys you laid out for us how they did, and then guys that maybe that stole the show, like I just said, and could be on the radar for the Jets, which is going to be very very huge. But before I end it, sign off here. Everybody go out there, like the Instagram, like the TikTok. Later this week, I'll have a Knicks and Rangers episode, and St. John's as well, because obviously it's got to be about St. John's. They're ranked number 7 now in the AP poll, so they're in the top 10, coming for his Duke Blue Devils. Hopefully, they get a little matchup in the NCAA tournament. But St. John's only got 3 regular season games left. Got to finish up strong, so that'll be a big talking point for the episode, as well as the Knicks not being able to beat any of the top teams in either conference, especially the Celtics and the Cavaliers. Someone that one of those teams they could very much play in the second round, depending on how things break out. So big week ahead and a big few weeks ahead. I know we'll have CT back in a probably in another 3 weeks right before opening day to talk some more baseball. But with that being said, episode 21 is officially done.